Well, hello there, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl, Audrey Codner. Yes, she was on hiatus for a minute, not because she was relaxing. Oh, no, because we all have to get everything done with this math. Final exams or midterms, and what I do here is I take a lot of the math concepts, especially the algebra, that you generally see on GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, TEAS test, HESI test, any kind of test that deals with algebra. I usually take these concepts and just break it on down for you. So let's take a look at the very first one. So after Nikos left his car in the parking lot of a park, he walked a total of 347 paces due east and then 284 paces due south to the information booth. If he entered a park after walking only 59 paces, how many more paces did he walk after entering the park and before arriving at the information booth? Is it A, 690, B, 630, C, 572, or D, 288? So all you have to do is just take a look, see what you have, and then go ahead and put your answer into the chat to say, hey, this is what I think it is. And even if you're not sure, you can also do a question mark. All right. Oh, hello, Jacinda. How are you? Thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate it. So hopefully you're doing well today. I know it's been a minute, guys, since I've been here, but everybody and their mama wanted tutoring. And I wasn't kidding. It's like everybody and their mama wanted some tutoring, trying to get their stuff together. Okay, Solo is saying 572. Okay, anyone else that wants to put their answer, go ahead and put it in the chat and see what you can get. So remember, he walked a total of 347 paces due east and then 284 paces due south to the information booth. If he entered a park after walking only 59 paces, how many paces did he walk after entering the park and before arriving at the information booth? Okay, Tristan's saying A. I think Ollie is saying 631. Jacinda is saying A. Hello, Michael. How are you? I know it's been a minute. Your girl has been really, really busy. Finally somewhat coming up for air. Not completely, but somewhat. So, if we are not sure, let's take a look. So we're looking at the total paces. So if we add the 347 paces with the 284 paces, let's see what we will get. I'm going to put it right here on my paper. So we have 347 and 284. Okay, so you're like, hey, Audrey, you can definitely use a calculator. Yes, I could. And we did get a total of 631, which that is one of our answers, but that's the total amount of paces that they took. But then they already walked 59 of those. So if we take our 631 and we take away 59, we're going to see how many's left over. So take away from the 3, that makes that a 2. Now that 1 is now 11. So 11 minus 9 gives me 2. We're going to borrow from the 6 to make it a 5 and make that 2 into a 12. So then we have our 7, and then we have 57. So 572 paces. So that's how many paces Nikos was walking. All right? Right to the point. Okay? So now let's take a look at the next one. Let's see if I can grab a little more extra light, because as the days and nights are changing, here we go. All right, so simply, all we're going to do is do our process here with our decimal expressions and see, what is my answer? Is it A? Is it B? Is it C? Or is it D? So 4 and 56 hundredths minus 9 32 thousandths plus 11 and 87 thousandths with the THS at the end. Yes, that's what you want to do. We have the BODMAS, or we can have, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. All right. Okay, so Lamont's Town is saying A. Thank you so much for the follow, guys. I appreciate it. And Philip, thank you so much for the share. Greatly appreciate the time that you guys are giving. All right, has to be B. Lemons is saying, okay. So I got a battle between A and we got B. Okay, Sabrina, thanks for the follow. Womp womp, thanks for the follow. All right. Nora is saying B. Nations B. Nave Fitness is saying B. Good job. Mo is saying B. Okay. XO is telling me thank you for the follow. Easy to guess. Just add the first place value. Okay. It's saying it's B. It's saying it's B. Okay. Alexa B. Benson B. James B. All right. So since we have all of this, so if we're taking a look, if you had your 4 and 5, 6, and you're subtracting, okay, so it's almost like a lot of stuff is happening in the one spot. So in that case, if we're doing our subtraction of those two, because remember, we got to go from left to right. Do not add these two first. Okay, you got to go from left to right. So if we're borrowing from the 6, we're going to make this a 5. So then that 0 is now a 10. So we have our 8. We have our 2, borrowing from the 4 to make it into a 3. So we're making that 5 into a 15. So if we have our 15 minus our 9, then we'll have our 6. Then we're going to add the 11. Now here's the thing. When it comes to decimals, you have to, and I do mean have to, line up your decimal points. Only with addition and subtraction you have to line up the decimal points, whereas multiplication you do not. So now we got our 8 plus 7. That gives us our 15. And as you look, we're going to have our 5 here. Carry that 1 over. So 8 and 2, that gives me 10. Okay, plus the 1, 11. So now we have our 7. So right away, I have 7 15. And the only thing that's giving me 7 15s is my option B. So I could keep going in this retrospect, because here's my 4 and here's my 1. Okay, but even if you just did the first part with the 8 plus 7, that gives you 15. There's nothing else here that gives you a ending of 15, which is your B. Okay, so you can do it that way. College algebra after GED? Yep, because all you got is a whole bunch of algebra. Okay. All right. Nope. For PEMDAS, you do not. And then that's the one thing that everyone always screws up when it comes to PEMDAS. Everyone always forgets the left to right. Okay? So you're either doing multiplying or dividing before addition or subtraction. Well, in this case, we had nothing but addition and subtraction. So we have to go from left to right, whatever comes first from the left, which is the subtraction. Okay? That's why a lot of people are, when they get their exams, it gets all screwy, because we all forget about the left to right portion. Okay? All right. So now we have a courtyard of an office building. It's in the shape of a circle as shown in the diagram above. It has a radius of 10 feet. What is the circumference in feet of the courtyard? and they want you to use 3 and 1400ths for pi. So is it A, 15/7? Is it B, 31 and 4/10? Is it C, 33 and 4/10? Or is it D, 62 and 8/10? Okay, M, no problem. Okay, I follow back as saying it's D. Stradix is saying it's D. All right, BM saying it's D. Velis is saying B. I think that's what it's called. Maria saying B. It's saying 62.8. Okay. All right. Brown is saying D. Sean saying D. Lover is saying D. Okay, so we got a battle between D and B's. All right. So let's see. We are looking for the circumference. So since they're giving us the radius, the formula for circumference is your 2 pi r. Okay? If they give you the diameter, that's when your circumference is going to be just pi d. Because remember, the radius is half of your diameter. But we're going to use this one. So they are giving us 2 times the pi, but they want us to use 3.14. And we're going to multiply that by the radius, which they gave us is 10 feet. So even if we have multiplication straight across. So if you want to do 2 times 10 first, that will give you 20. Then you multiply the 3 and the 4, 1400ths. I know for a fact if I multiply 3 times 2, that's going to give me 60. So right away, just by doing the multiplication of 2 and a 10, A's gone completely. All right. So then if I'm multiplying it by a 3 and 1400ths, it knows I have this whole number, but then I'll have a little bit left over. So it has to be D. But let's take a look. So if you have your 3/14 times your 20, this has 2 decimal places. So I like to keep track of my decimals on the side. And the 20 doesn't have any decimal place. So that means if I do 2 plus 0, that means my answer should have 2 decimal places. So I know the first one's going to be 0. Then 2 times 4 gives me 8. 2 times 1, 2. 2 times 3, 6. And since my answer has to be 2 decimal places, that means I move it over 1, 2. So you'll get your 62 and 8/10. Boom, answer D. Okay, well, hello. All right. So you see how sometimes you can go all the way through, but if you're taking your GED, your ASVAB, your AccuPlacer, your TEAS test, any of those, they're not going to be looking at the work. They just want to know, is my answer A, B, C, or D? That's all they care about. But I know sometimes I do get students on here. Students are people that are currently taking classes. Well, guys, you have to show your work. Because when you show your work, your teacher can understand where you're coming from. And if there is like a slight mistake, you could probably get partial credit. But when it comes down to standardized tests, they're not going to give you any partial anything. Okay? So it's either you know it or you don't. All right? So, good. I'm glad that you guys are finding this helpful. So as guys just continue on. Okay, so I'm going to do a few more and then I'll tell you what the next steps are. So if you guys can keep on tapping, that would be lovely. Because the more people are tapping and saying they're liking and they're sharing, thank you for those that are sharing. Thank you for those. If you do like this, if you want to follow me, go ahead and follow me. That would be awesome. And if you're currently in a class or you're thinking about taking a class, you know, new year, new you type thing, just let me know because I also do tutoring. So as you can see, this is what I do step by step. So as we take a look at this, we have to multiply the following decimal expressions. So we have 5 and 63 hundredths times 8 and 72 hundredths. So we can tackle this one of two ways, since they are just looking at roughly where your answers are going to be. Okay, some people are asking what grade it is. People are saying it's A. All right, pretty simple. Can you just guesstimate? There you go. So if anything, you got all this. So, we got that. Got A's. I'm seeing a couple B's. Hannah's got a B. Thank you, Michael, for the gifts. I appreciate it. Vic is saying A. Okay. Thank you for checking in as well. Priscilla is saying A. Okay, we got some A's, we got some B's. Randy's saying A. The boss is saying A. Patrick, hello, saying A. Okay, Miss Brown saying C. Big Bad Dad, okay, saying A. There you go. C and D are out too big. That's what I'm saying. Good. All right, so you've been here before. All right, so if anything, if we're looking at the two numbers, we have 5 point something multiplied by 8 point something. So if we do 5 times 8, we know that's going to give us 40. So right away, C gone, D gone. 490? No. 404? No. So I know it's not going to be exactly to the 40 because we have these tenths here. So if I did, I could see if I could round it if I wanted to. And if I wanted to go like say 5.6 times 8.7, that will kind of give us like a pretty decent idea of what it can be. All right. So, but we know it's going to be a little bit more than that because we have that 3 that's in the 10th spot. And then we have the 2 that's also, in the 100th spot. So it's not going to be exactly 40, but we know it's going to be good to 49. But if you want to see the whole thing, let's go on and let's break it on down. Why not? It's only a Friday afternoon and we're just sitting here doing math like I do every blessed day. So if anything, 3 times 2, that gives me 6. So usually I would use that as a trick to take a look at the ends, but both of the ends are giving me 6s, so that doesn't help. But again, I have 2 decimal places here, and I have 2 decimal places there. So that means my answer needs to be of 4 decimal places, which both of them have. So 6 and 2, that's 12, carry the 1, 2 and 5 is 10, adding that 1 gives me 11. 7 and 3 is 21. This is what a lot of the students do incorrectly. When you do 7 times 3, you do not put the 1 under the 6. You put the 1 under the 2. Okay? You put it under the 2, you carry the 2. So now 7 times 6 gives me 42 plus 2 is 44. 7 and 5 is 35 plus 4 is 39. Now we're going to do the 8s. 8 times 3 is 24. So the 4 goes under this 4, carrying the 2. 6 and 8 is 48 plus 2 is 50. Carry the 5. 8 and 5 is 40 plus 5 gives me 45. So just with this information, you got your 6, got your 3, your 9, 10 carry the 1. That's a 9. That's a 4. 4 decimal places over. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you will get answer of A. But like I said, if you want to take a quick, brief idea so you can do process elimination, multiply the 5 and the 8, that will give you 40. But if you really round it, make it like a 6 and a 9, that'll give me 54. And you know you rounded up, so while we take it a small step back, we'll still give you to that spot of A. All right? Okay. So here we are for number 5. So last week, we got Christian bought 5 3/5 pounds of apples. This week, she bought 1/2 of that amount. How many pounds of apples did Christian buy this week? So is it A, 2.5, B, 2 7/8, C, 5 1/4, or D, 11.5? So let me give you a moment. So she bought 5 3/4 pounds of apples, and then that was last week, and then this week bought half of that amount. So how many apples did she buy this week? Some C's, some B's, some B's, some B's. Thank you for the follow. Michael saying the B. We're saying B with chaotic God. Okay. Thank you, Ashley. That's all right. What grade is this for? It's basically for GED and some refreshers if anyone's that's doing algebra. B, the boss. Thank you for the follow. It's failing math. That's okay. It's all right. Randy's saying B. Okay. Garcia's saying B. AP, hey, it's saying B. Claudette with a B. Godfellow saying algebra. Yes, algebra. Forever April saying C. Patrick Dean with a B. Let's see, hold on. Okay, Tic Tac saying B. Okay, hello Jackson. How are you? Okay, Paul's like, follow the host. Thank you for the follows. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Demon saying A. Kitchen Garden is saying B. Okay, Ahmed with B. Good. Oh, good. All right. So we got that. Phoenix Queen is saying D. Thanks so much for the follow. Jelly Bear, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. All right. So let's take a look. User 99 with B. Angela saying B or C. If you could make a decision, what would it be? Unfiltered is saying B. Nice to see you. Philip with a B. Good. All right. Thank you so much for the follows, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Let's take a quick look. All right. So we know they bought 5 3/4. Okay, so if we want to know that they took, for me, I like to keep the fractions. After a while, I kind of got used to it. But I know a lot of you guys are probably going to say, all right, we got 5.75, right? But I like to not only change it from a mixed number, I like to change it to improper fraction. Because there's a reason why. I have or let me change it improper. So 4 times 5 gives me 20 plus 3 gives me a 23 over 4. And I know that she bought half of this amount. So instead of me dividing, I'm actually going to, let's see if I can multiply it by my 1/2. Because I want to know how many pounds of apples she bought for this week. Not so much I'm taking apples away. So if I do that, I'm going to get 23 over 8. And if I want to figure out what 23/8 is, I'm going to actually divide. So how many 8s can go into 23? 2 of them. So right away, C and D is out. Okay, so now we have our 16. So 23 minus 16, that will give me 7. So that's my remainder. So my remainder is always over my divisor. Okay, again, there is multiple ways of doing this. If you wanted to, you could have done the multiplying of 0.5. And then you just count your decimal places. You can do that as well. Okay. All right. So there's multiple ways. Fighting Doctor, how are you? Saying my B. Good. All right. So now for this one, might have to shrink this because I think part of it is in the comments. You're like, what is this going on? So this asking, in the graph below, which point has the coordinates of -1, -3? Is it A, being A, B, point B, C, point C, or D, point D? All right. Hey, Hey, Janice, how are you? Good. So we got that. Okay. One more what? Okay. So we got A's, 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 A's. Okay. We got Phoenix with A's, A's. Mimi saying D. So she had an A. Hey, Teach. Oh, good. How about me? I'm okay. I'm okay. So this is unanimous about the A's. Fabulous. Okay. So if we take a look over here, this is my x-axis. My numbers are positive on the right. My numbers are negative on the left. This point right here at the center, that's your origin, which is the 0, 0. Now for the y's, from the origin up is going to be positive. From the origin down is going to be negative. So anytime you're about to name a point, you start the origin. And then since we have a negative 1, that means I'm going to the left 1, and then I'm going down 3. So that will be our A. Now, if you want to know, these are called quadrants. So that's the first quadrant, the second quadrant, the third quadrant, and the fourth quadrant. So in the first quadrant, all of your points are positive. So your X is positive and your Y is positive. In the second quadrant, your X is negative and your Y's are positive. Third quadrant, everything's negative. Okay, both the X and Y, looks like a face. And for your fourth quadrant, your X's are positive and your Y values are negative. Think about the alphabet, X, then Y. Okay, all right, X, then Y. Good. All right, so someone did ask, is this stuff recorded? And I'm going to say, yes, it is. And it takes me a little bit. It shouldn't take me too much time today. That the only thing is, if you want to see any of the replays, this is where you can go. I can't say it out loud because it'll just all of a sudden stop the live. I had that happen to me a couple times. But I would love for you, if you can, go ahead and subscribe. There is a playlist that says TikTok Lives. So all of my TikToks from February 2nd is listed there. So I do some lives like this, where it's a nice little mixture of different types of problems. And some of them is more geared towards a particular concept, like say slope or equation of the lines, or how to do factoring, how to find the arithmetic and the geometric sequence. So anything that's dealing with algebra that is seen in GED, ASVAB, Accuplacer, TEAS test, HESI test, any kind of high school equivalency test, it's there. Praxis as well, especially if you guys are doing the praxis, it's the first part. It's all there, okay? So that's a place where you can go, and it's free. Go ahead, knock yourself out. But also in the mix of all this, I have been and I am working on a couple of workbooks for those that want the extra practice. So workbooks will be coming out. I'm hoping for it to hit before the new year. So that's the other thing I've been working diligent into the wee hours to make sure that you guys all have. All right. So just be on the lookout for that. We're going to have some of those things ready for you. I really want you to be successful. And this is just my way of saying, hey, you can do this math thing. Trust me, I am not a math genius. I did not come out the womb saying, oh, this poor, meaningful world. No, I had to work my butt off. I was one of those kids that got pulled into a corner. We didn't have special ed back then. We were just pulled into a corner, given a whole list of problems to do, little to no instruction, and it said, do it. And many times sitting in the corner crying, many times wondering, why am I not with the rest of the class learning the same way? And trust me, I used to hate math until someone said, you know what, Audrey, you have the patience of Job and you should teach math. And I'm like, all right. So now here I am. Been teaching math for 22 years, and now I have my own online tutoring business and been tutoring for this is my 6th year. And I have people in the United States. Also, I used to have Cairo, Egypt, and Nairobi, Kenya. So yeah, been all over the world. All right. So now let's take a look at number 7 in the diagram below. Which point represents the value of -3 plus -5? Is it A, B, C, or D? So I'm seeing the little combinations of A. Lots of A's, good. Got some Dylan. Hello, Dylan. Okay. Tay, hello, Tay. I'm seeing some B's, some B's. Okay, some people are not sure. Not a problem. No, if I do college math, it's basically like the intermediate algebra, which is like a little cinch of high school math. Yeah, that's usually my thing. Hello, Big G Money. I see you now. Okay, so we got a battle between the A's and the B's. Okay, we're going to fight to the death on this one. So, and I think it's all because of those lovely integers. So, we have two negative numbers being added together. So think about it. Like if you owed me reason, you came to me and say, hey, Audrey, can I borrow another $5? Say what? Okay, sure, here you go. Because I'm a kind person, but I am going to get my money. But that means you owe me more money. So when you see two negatives and you're adding them, you're going to keep the sign, but you're going to add the numbers. So that means you owe me $8. What a lot of you guys are seeing, so the answer is A, but a lot of you are seeing that, oh, I have -3 plus, or like -3 plus 5. For some reason, you're not seeing the negative one of them. And you're getting like a -2. That's not it. So when both of the signs are negative and you're adding, you're going to keep the sign and add the numbers. Okay? So hopefully we're seeing that now. All right? Okay? And it's not going to be positive. It's definitely going to be negatives. The only times negatives turn to a positive is when you're multiplying. Okay, I know 60 million and 2 rules, right? So many rules, so many concepts. That's another reason why I'm also developing some more resources to help people in particular for that. All right, so I'm going to have to shrink up just a tad. Or actually, I can do this. For 2 questions. So the first question asks, what is the median high temperature in Fahrenheit for the week? Okay, so we have from Sunday to Saturday. We have our temperatures right here in our Y columns. And we want to know the median. Okay, what will be the median? So I'm seeing a whole bunch of B's. I'm seeing some C's. Well, one from the same person. Okay, Best Squared is saying C. Made to Design is saying A. Mr. Grayson is saying A. Dylan C. Median is the middle. Yes. So something has to happen before we can do any of this. What is it that has to happen before we can do any of this? Claudette is saying C. Ag is saying B. Okay. Now, there you go. Made to Design. You got it. Ding, ding, ding. Okay. All right. So now we're starting to see some A's. Yes, Morgan. Yes. We need to put them in order first. We're saying median. Median means middle. Middle. Mean is when you add them all up and you divide by how many numbers you have. That's the mean. But in order for us to do this, we need to put this bad boy in order. So far it looks like the lowest that we have is a 70. I'm going to put it this way. So we have our 70. Then is our 72. Then 74, then 75. I'll make sure I'm doing that. Then 78. Oops. Handwriting is gone. 80. Let's see if I can slide over a little bit. 83. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I got all my numbers. Once they're in order, now we want to count towards the middle. Knock off one at the end, knock off the end, knock off the end. Now we got our middle. So our median is actually going to be A, 75. Okay, so we have to find the middle. No problems. See, this is the perfect place. Do not feel like, oh my God, I made a mistake. This is how we learn, guys. This is life. We have to screw up. If we don't learn from our screw ups, guess what? You won't be living, okay? So we make these adjustments, and we make these adjustments now. So now for number 9, it says, what is the range? Maybe I can use our numbers a little bit, but what is the range of the high temperatures in Fahrenheit for the week? So what would be the range? All right, so let me show. Again, I might have to shrink a little bit, or a lot. Okay, a lot. I know all my seasoned people are like, no! I'm trying to see it, Audrey. I can't. Well, put on your phone. Go ahead and extend that bad boy out. Pinch and extend. All right, so what is the range? Okay, so what is the range? So I'm seeing some D's. Okay, hey Nursey, saying 13 with my D. User 45 with my D. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. So we got 13, Michael, Christian D. Okay. They call it S. Okay. We're going to take a look at it. All right. So your range. If you ever think of your range, like think if you're singing, you want to hit the high notes. We want to know, what is your range? Can you sing here, or can you sing here? Or, so you want to take a look at your highest number minus your lowest number. So if we take a look, even with the numbers that I wrote out, the highest number that we had was 83. Okay. Now, your lowest number was 70. And all we're doing is taking the difference of those two numbers. So this will give me simply 13. So I know sometimes, especially if you're a classroom student, you're probably like, no, that's not what range is. Range is the list of all the outcomes. True, but we're talking about the range of a data set. Okay, we're not talking about the listing of values like you see for linear equations. We're talking of a data set. So the way that you find your range of data, because since we're looking at data, that's what we're dealing with, you're going to take your highest number minus your lowest number. Okay, your max minus your min. Okay, all right, okay, all right. So let's keep the party going. Yeah. All right. So now number 10. Write the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0 in scientific notation. So is your answer A, B, C, or D? Okay. They always throw a scientific notation problem, regardless if you're doing GED, ASVAB, or Accuplacer. They always put at least one of those. And if you do see the scientific notation, GED, that will basically be like a 2-point question. ASVAB, that means you're definitely past your 31. So you're probably still in the mid to somewhat high 30s. Okay, so that'll kind of give you a good idea where you're ranging. Okay, all right. So I'm seeing some A's, I'm seeing some C's. I have a couple B's kind of throwing stuff in here. Let's take a look. Now, with scientific notation, it's always based out of the power of 10. Now, the main thing that you need to understand is you always have a number, a decimal point, maybe some other numbers, but it's always like a power of 10 with some kind of exponent. Okay, so if I look at A, that gives me 1.2. Okay, that basically passes this part and it's giving me an exponent or a power of 10. So that can kind of stay. But B is telling me 12.3. We can't have two digits before the decimal point, only one. That's why B is out. Okay. Now for C, you got 1.2. So far that satisfies. So we're going to keep that in the mix. But D, oh, definitely not. Okay. It has 1, 2, 3 digits before the decimal place. You're only allowed one digit before the decimal place. But now we need to know about our exponents. So we're looking at A and we're looking at C. If you notice, the first part looks exactly the same, but we need to know how many times we had to move that decimal place over so it can land between the 1 and the 2. So not parentheses, long day, got us with commas. So they're giving us sections. So that's 3. That's 3. That gives me 6. That's another 3. That gives me 9. So that means I had to move the decimal place that is really for C behind the 0. I had to move it over 3, 6, 9 places. So that means my exponent can't be 10. That means my exponent has to be a 9. So my answer is C. Okay. All right. Good job. Okay, well, thank you, Boogie. Okay, I love it. I love how people are able to do. Okay, so for those that ask me, scientific nation always power of 10? Yes, it's always a power of 10. Okay. All right, thanks for that. Thanks for sharing it. It's not a right. Okay. All right. So you always want to make sure that it's in between. It's one digit in front of the decimal point. So that's how we were able to eliminate B and D, because B had 2 decimal places before the decimal point, and D had 3 places before the decimal point. So they're gone. So now A and C are basically the same. So now we had to count how many times we have to move the decimal place so it will be located between 1 and 2. So if we notice, the commas, I was about to say parentheses again, the commas are breaking them up into like sections of 3. So you got 3 and 3 and 3, which gives me 3, 6, 9. And notice on the 9th, it takes me between the 1 and the 2, and that's where I want the decimal place to be. So that means I had to move the decimal place over 9 digits. Okay, so that's why the exponent will give me 9. All right. Always stop 1 digit before. Yep, Jan. Yep. So instead of going all the way over, yep, always want to be like at least 1 digit to your left. Okay. All right, Webb, is that good? Okay, there you go. All right, so now, oops, let me bring it down a little bit. Liam drank 54 milliliters of water. How many liters of water did Liam drink? Is it A, 5 4/10, B, 54 hundredths, C, 54 thousandths, or D, 54 10,000ths? Didn't think I knew how to say it, right? That's a point. All right, so I got some C's, I got some B's, I got some B's, I got a V, I got some B's, I got a C, I got some B. I think because the V is next to the B. There we go. All right, so we got some C's, or the C is next to the V. Okay, C's, Claudette, we got you. SW, we got you. C, Zebra. Okay, Red, Ali, good. We got some C's and some B's and got some A's. All right, so let's think about it. Milli, a milli. Okay, so there are 1,000 milliliters in 1 liter. I know a good RN, she's probably like, yes, we're doing some conversions. All right. So if we're going from milliliters to liters, I know the amount is going to be small. Okay. So if you have more of a smaller notion, that means your bigger volume size is going to be small in number. So that's why A is gone. So if we're going to move it, we're going to have to move it over so it can be in our 1,000th spot. So the only one that's showing up into that 1,000th spot is going to be C, because this is 54 thousandths with a THS at the end. Okay, so your answer is C. All right. There we go. All right. Now, okay, couple more. So which expression shows the probability of getting doubles when you roll 2 number cubes? I don't know why we can't say dice anymore. It still befuddles me. But anyway. But if you have 2 number cubes, what's the probability of getting doubles? Is it A, 5/6? Is it B, 1/6? C, 6? Or D, 1/3? Okay, so I got some. Okay. So we got our B's. Brittany, thank you for the follow. Okay, we got Mo with a B, Claudette with a B. Appreciate it, Manny. Okay, and we got a B. Brown, we got a B. Okay. SW, we got a B. Rosette, hello, Rosette. I don't know how I missed you. You got a B. Jumpy Jan's not sure. Got you. What times and days do I go live? I'm actually going to go back to a schedule. I will actually post it. I just have, since I don't have any too much clientele. Basically, I'm going to be unemployed for the next couple of weeks. I got to keep my mind sharp. No, I'm going to still keep working on these workbooks for you guys. In addition to everything. So I will be going back on the schedule for the next 3 weeks. Look at that. So I know there's probably going to be a morning session and probably an afternoon session. So I'm not sure about the evenings, but you guys got to let me know if you would like that. All right, Jumping Jan's. All right, so there's got B, Gianna with B, Michael, B's, Danny, B. Thank you for the follow. Thank you, Michael, for using your stickers. Love it. If you guys want to join me up, you can. Just hit the heart right next to my name. Okay, so I got a couple of D's. So let's take a look at it. So the probability of getting just rolling doubles. Now, when I'm saying about doubles, I'm saying that you got 1 and a 1. Okay, so 1 cube of 1 dice. Okay, you got 2 and a 2, 3 and a 3, 4 and 4, 5 and 5, 6 and 6. Okay, so this is what I mean by rolling doubles. We all know that there's going to be little dots on there, but for those that are not familiar, because there may be some that are don't gambling, When you look at a number cube, aka a dice, there's 6 sides to it. So one side will have 1 dot, another side will have 2 dots, another side with 3, another side with 4, another side with 5, and another side with 6. So you have 6 options for one die and 6 options for another die. But in order for you to get your doubles, because you can easily roll a 1 and a 3, or a 2 and a 6, or a 5 and a 4. Okay, but the options of getting doubles is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, in order for you to get the possible outcomes, one possible outcome is going to be 1 out of 6. You're going to get a number, one number out of 6. Now, the possibility of getting for the other cube is also 1 out of 6. Since we have 2 events, we're going to multiply them. It's not 1 6 times 1 or 1 6 plus 1 6 is 1 6 times 1 6. So that will give us, when we multiply, 1 out of 36. Okay, hopefully you're seeing that. So in order for me to figure out the possible outcomes, I had to look at the outcomes of one cube and the outcomes of another cube, multiplying to give me 36. So right away, C, that's out. Okay, and D, they're just looking at the number of doubles. We need to figure out the possible outcomes because that's what probability is. It's your favorable outcomes over your total possible outcomes. So this just goes against the definition of a probability. So now, remember I said, what's the possible ways of you getting the doubles? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 out of 36 ways of you getting a double. But we can reduce that because 6 and 36 all have multiples of 6 involved. So if I divide this by 6, and if I divide this by 6, I will get 1/6. So in order for me to get it, it will be B. Okay. That's okay. Trust me, it took me a long time to figure and to feel comfortable about this. As I tell you, I'm not coming out the womb like, I'm a math genius. Everyone bow down to me. Yeah, no. For me, growing up, fractions, no. Word problems, hell no. I was, nope. I would skip them all the time. And to the point that they thought I was special ed. I was like, no, I just don't understand them. And then I love how I was constantly being assessed on something that wasn't, 1, presented to me, and 2, I didn't understand it. So if sometimes all of a sudden someone later on in my life at the rightful age of 25, all it took for them to say is, hey, fractions is nothing but division. Opened up my mind completely up. And then from there, I just started practicing. Okay, that makes you feel better? It should. Like, shoot. And that's why I want you to come here and feel comfortable. Okay, so if you have questions with these, please do not hesitate to ask. Okay, because I'm hopefully show you proof that you can do this. All right, now let's try this one. And then probably a couple more. And then we're going to just, relax a little bit. Enjoy the rest of your day. So for 13, frozen bread dough is priced at $3.39 for 3 loaves. What is the unit price, the price of 1 loaf? Is it A, 88 cents, B, $1.13, C, $2.26, or D, $10.17? D sounds more like what we're dealing with right now. Why is bread so expensive? That's why we're all so good at sourdough, because of the pandemic. I swear, I think everybody was learning how to make dough during the pandemic. It's hilarious. All right. So I can see a B, 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 right? I think everybody was like an expert at sourdough. You should try my sourdough. I was like, seriously? Did everyone make sourdough? Was there a memo? I didn't get it. All right. So, it's almost hands down. Everybody's like B, 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 B. Yup. Because all we had to do is take our $3.39 and divide that bad boy by the 3 loaves. So that's 1, and that's 3, lining up our decimal point. So our answer is going to be B. Right? Wasn't that? And you'll be like, as we'll sit here and say, oh man, that was like a hardest question. I know we're being a little sarcastic, but believe it or not, some people struggle with that. I know I've been dealing with it all week. All right, so let's see if we can do 2 more, and then we'll call it a day. Wait until I can. Oh, I was about to slide my thing over. I don't know. TikTok needs to figure themselves out. Figure themselves out. Figure themselves out. Figure themselves out. Sorry, my friends. Just sitting here waiting for TikTok to give me a puzzle piece so I can slide. And once I can slide that, then I can continue on. If not, my life may be ending. Okay. All right. So I don't want this to end on you. Okay. Well, I don't want this to end right on here. So let's just end right here. I'm sorry to say this, because I don't know. TikTok just does not want to give me a puzzle piece so I can move on with my life. But that's okay. Again, give me some time. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, there might be movement. See, TikTok, they listen. They be eavesdropping. All right, we're all good now? Okay, we're all good in the hood. Woo! All right, so what is the area in square meters of the rectangle above? Is it A, 14, B, 28, C, 48, or D, 96? What do we think? Yes. Okay. Yes, I do one-to-one tutoring. Okay, the cost is $77. I normally cost $92. I know, I'm expensive, but I'm good at what I do. If I give you an A, I'm bringing an apple. I don't need an apple. Okay, a whole bunch of C's, 48s. Yes. So if we're doing area, okay, remember, area of a rectangle is your length times width, or some of you guys like to say your base times height. Either way, you're just basically doing the multiplication of my 2 sides. So 6 times 8, that will give me my 48. All right, let's see what we got for this one. Oops. Okay. So which function below represents converting feet to yards? Is it A, y equals 3f? Okay, f is your feet, y is your yards. Is it B, f equals 3y, c, which is f equals y plus 3, or D, y equals f plus 3? Is it A, B, C, or D? Okay. Will it affect your grade? Yeah, pretty much. It doesn't sway me either way. Trust me. Many have tried. Weird. Okay. All right, so we got our A, we got our B. So all we're doing for number 15, we want to see which one's going to give me yards. So it is A. Good job. Because when we're going from feet, so if I have my yards, I know it's going to be 3 times the feet to go into yards. 3 feet gives me 1 yard. All right. Okay, everyone. So as I said before, the recording of this, so you can see the beginning to the end, you can actually find it here. All right. Just go here. For where it says TikTok replays, there's actually a playlist that says that. It's a YouTube channel. All you have to go is ACG Math Tutoring. So again, I am working on some workbooks and some other resources to help you with the whole math piece. Even like some formula sheet cards, a whole rack of all my resources, multiplication, division, flashcards, even workbooks with assessments that can help you with either the GED, the ASVAB, the Accuplacer, basically the algebra piece. So that's what I'm going to be doing in the next few hours. And but thank you for coming in. I greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate you sharing the live, and as well as just being attentive. So what university did I graduate from? I went to St. Joe's University. Played there for 4 years, blood, sweat, and tears. Yep, so if you ever want to look me up, go ahead and Google me. There's plenty of stuff about me. So it's like, oh, we want to steal Audrey's identity. Why? Because once you read all this stuff, you're going to be like, yeah, no. All right, so again, my name's Audrey Codner, Codner, represent it. Former basketball player, former professional basketball player, played overseas, and former classroom teacher of 22 years, now an online math tutor, and I guess motivator. I laugh so much at that. All right, so thank you so much. All kinds of resources will be coming in. I will be here tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but be on the lookout. I'm going to post a schedule on my profile. So you'll have a good idea of what's going to be happening for the next coming days. All right. Well, thank you so much and have an amazing day. Take care. Bye now.